YouTube family, Jamaica National Bank got hit yesterday with a cyber attack. The same bank got hit on March 14, 2020. The National Commercial Bank, one of the big banks in Jamaica, got hit with a cyber attack on October 14th this year. The Industrial and Commercial Bank of China got hit yesterday with a cyber attack, the American Treasury arm. And people, the sad reality about all of this is that the mass media is not informing us. The attack that happened yesterday, the one on Jamaica National, I never heard about it in the news. I never heard about it in the papers. I tried to search online and try to find some information about the attack. And apparently there was nothing. How I heard about it was through the grapevine. Someone told me that, hey, some people checked their Jamaica National account and their money was missing. So this is why I said sometimes the media muzzle information, bury it, and you don't know anything. That is why you always cannot believe what the media tells you. Well, from my point of view, I cannot tell you what to do. And this is why I'm trying to give this, what they call it, a public announcement for you to pay attention. Now, I remember before 9/11, the mass media always running a campaign of how a sheikh, really did an attack on the World Trade Center and how an American ship was actually attacked in Yemen. And I remember that information, that narrative was propagated on the often until 9/11 happened. I remember also when, before COVID, and I'm going to try to do my best to find the article, I talked to a reporter that, without a doubt, that a pandemic was going to happen. And she said, really, how do you know? She wrote the article up. I'm going to do my best to find it. And we were getting all about, chicken flu, bird flu, all of those kind of flu. And what I've always understood about the media is that before something happened, they try to psychologically condition us to the event before it happens. And quite frankly, as I told the reporter that the pandemic was going to happen, yes, we had a pandemic 2 or 3 years ago. Now, we also got to understand the war in Ukraine. We were getting a lot of information in the mass media of how, there was some provocation up in the Donbass area, and then we see war broke out. So for me, all of these are not coincidental, but when you really look at it, something is about to happen. If you use the Hegelian dialect to assess Jamaica, take a close look. There has not been any reduction of crime over the years. Scamming is still prevalent in Jamaica. We have the cyber attack on the banks. We have employees taking advantage of people's account in the banks. We have SSL. You realize that they're creating a problem, waiting for the masses to react, then they'll implement the solution. From my perspective, as I said, it's not about paranoia, it's about looking at a habit. Because whether they like it or not, 2.8 million people, they can fix that problem. But if you also realize that during lockdown, they create the NIDS, the National Identification in Jamaica, after it was pushed back with the opposition. Then after that, they created JAMX, the digital currency. And now it's about implementation. How do you implement it? Well, you need to create a crisis. The Hegelian dialect stipulates that you can create the problem, wait for the masses to react, then you implement the solution. The solution is never to better the people. The solution is always to put more power in the hands of the powerful. As the saying goes, power will never give up any level of its hegemony unless it can gain more power. In this case, They either do it subtle by giving you a token and say, tell you what, you have no money, let's give you a universal basic income, or they will shut down the grid, a massive cyber attack, and they say, hey, tell you what, because of all of this, now you're gonna have to use the digital currency. People, I smell a fish, a big stinking fish, and it does smell good because guess what? It's about centralizing power in a few hands while all of us are left as serfs. I have a friend of mine who is a forensic accountant, and when I spoke to her, she said, Richard, there's a lot of things that's taking place in the financial sector, a lot of hacks, but we're not hearing about it. And I said, why? She said, tell you what, because of the introduction of the CBDC, central bank digital currency, the system wants to roll over to that new system. As you know, folks, the cash we use is fiat. The Federal Reserve print this kind of money out of thin air, loan it to the government, loan it to banks, and they pay interest on something that the bankers make out of thin air. Now, this CBDC now will actually give them more power because every transaction you do will be monitored. You'll leave a footprint everywhere you go, and basically government can get their taxes. The government and the bankers are in bed with this. Now, to get to this level, I've spoke to you guys about the Hegelian dialectic. Problem, reaction, solution. They create the problem, they wait for the masses to react, then they implement the solution. And to get us there now, what happened, I believe, without a doubt, it's just my opinion, I can't tell you what to do, but I believe they will create or engineer a cyber attack, a crisis, a major attack that shut down the whole financial grid where you have no money to spend, nothing to do, and therefore they're going to force the CBDC upon us, and then we don't have anything else to do but just take it. Will there be a recession soon? We've been told that it's basically COVID that caused the interest rate to go up in the recession. We've been also told that it's supply chain issue. My question to you guys, will there be a recession? We see the BRICS nations are dumping the US Treasury. We see the US debt is over $30 trillion. And we also see that the interest rate has spiked. The interest rate has spiked on the US bonds. So now we're wondering, are we going to be in a recession, and when the recession going to happen? Now, how do you mitigate that? Now, as I said before in the Hegelian dialectic, you create the problem, wait for the masses to scream out, then you implement the solution. The point is that who caused the problem and who will implement in the solution? What's the solution? Well, I can't really give you a macro solution because this is bigger than me, way bigger than me. I believe at the immediate moment you must have cash in hand. If I were you, I would take a large sum of cash out of the banks and kind of put it aside, because if this system shuts down, how are you going to trade? Honestly, how are you going to trade? You need to have cash in hand. The next thing is that I would rather be on the other side of the Atlantic at this moment where I can live off the land. I mean, if you look in North America or anywhere in the Western world, everything you consume, you must buy. So if you don't have cash, gold, or say crypto, or the CBDC, how are you going to trade it? That's the problem. Now, when they heard us in all of this kind of digital currency, the thing is that now, while they get us in there and everything seems hunky-dory, then you know the teeth is coming on later on where, tell you what, they will sanction you on what you can buy, where you can go, and what you can do. And that is not democracy. That is basically tyranny right there. Now, YouTube family, don't let me be the bearer of bad news. All of this can just maybe my own illusion, my own perception. Based on the past where the media always run a narrative prior to any major changes, this tells me that whether they like it or not, there will be a change in the financial system, whether you like it or not. The point is that how will we survive? How will we adjust to this new norm, or do we want this new norm? But to get there, they have to create the problem, wait for the masses to react, then they implement the solution. In the long run for me, family, I want to do my best to get out of debt. I do not want to be in debt, period. I want to be able to have enough, sad to say cash, but enough liquid so I can move around. But I don't want to be in debt, because going forward, let me say this to you, it doesn't look good. Because everything you're going to rely on in the system will depend on the power at the top giving you access to. And if you don't comply, then as a social credit score, they can shut you down anytime they want. We see that during COVID. We see doing in Canada where they have the trucker demonstration, and anyone who donated to the trucker, they just freeze their accounts. What kind of democracy is that? So this is what I'm saying to you people, that I smell a change. And I've never been wrong on the change. And this change tells me that a financial buckling is coming to herd us into the CBDC. And that is not for us. It's for the ruling class. Yes, family, I want you to do some research on the Federal Reserve and your banking system. So check out this book, The Creature of Jekyll Island, where in 1910, the big bankers went to design the Federal Reserve. Also ask yourself this question: who prints your currency? You've never questioned it. Who prints your currency, the money you use? Who prints it, and where does the power comes from? When you understand that, then you know how the system works. This system is big. We're going for a transition, because guess what? We have to go in the digital world, so the powers at the top can have more control over us. Where does that leave me and you in this world? On that note, family, I'm going to leave you with this. I don't want to bore you. I said all of this could just be my own imagination. But to me, I want to look beyond. Because let me tell you, when it looks like a duck, and it quacks like a duck, and it walks like a duck, it's definitely not a damn turkey. See you in the next video, family. Peace out. Take care. And get some cash and keep cash on hand.